Hey guys, Script over here with another video, and it looks like we're going to get at least a Hutt in The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's going to be Rhoda, and hey, I've made no bones about the fact that I am not a fan of the Clone Wars. I tried to get into it. It was just, I don't know. It just wasn't very good. It's kind of like what they've done with Disney Star Wars on Disney Plus with all these shows. There's so much content they're trying to produce that it just becomes kind of redundant and watered down, and I'm just not that into it. And then of course, because they're producing so much content, they're not paying close enough attention, and there's lore issues. And I've been into that a million times on my channel. I need to go into it today. But I think it's kind of funny that there's a report out now that Rhoda, who was like he was like 50 or 55 in the Clone Wars, I guess, which means he was still like a baby, basically. So they kind of did the same thing with Grogu, right? Because Dave doesn't think of new ideas. So he made the age of the Hutt kind of in line with the age of Grogu, right? And they're both kind of babies. It's just rehashed the thing over and over and over. But anyway, so he was like 50 or something, or 55. So in the movie, he's going to be like what would be considered like a young adult, I guess, in the Hutt clan, which would be like 80, 85, because they're not technically like full-grown adults till they're in their 90s. And I'm a little wary about that. I mean, if you watch the scenes of this baby Rotta the Hutt that I think they thought was going to be like, we're going to sell toys, but no one cared, it's pretty corny and pretty cheesy, and I don't know if like a young adult or like teenager version is going to be any better of a Hutt. Like what they did with the Hutts in the Clone Wars is super weird. Like visually, like even the way that Dave made the one guy purple and all that stuff, like and that's the story with Rhoda, is that his uncle who dresses up in drag. And I know they're based on like amphibians and they're hermaphroditic and all that stuff. But then why call him uncle then? I don't know. I just find the whole thing, Clone Wars is weird to me, but whatever. And he was trying to like get the Jedi to be blamed for like Rhoda being kidnapped or dying or something so he could take over the Hutt clan from Jabba. Anyway, he ends up in jail or whatever. I don't know, whatever. It's cheese. But then Rhoda's just kind of gone. Heir apparent to the Hutt Empire. And that's why Zero was trying to get rid of him, right? His uncle. His Uncle Zero. Look at his Uncle Zero. You guys, like, come on. The Clone Wars? Really? Really? Just saying, man. Like, what made Jabba cool was that he's like this gross green slug. He looks like a booger. He looks like a giant booger. And he's like creepy and gross and slimy and spitty and drooly and gross. And he's not wearing feathers in his cap and painting yellow on him and whatever. It's just over the top. Like that's not a Hutt to me. So anyway, so Rhoda, or Rotta, whatever you want to call him. I don't know how to pronounce it. I didn't watch this stuff. Is barely old enough to slither before his conniving and power-hungry great Uncle Zero already had him marked for death at the time of the Clone Wars. Zero arranged for Rhoda to be Hutt-napped. Really? StarWars.com? Hutt-napped? I guess. You can't just say kidnapped? It's just whatever. As part of an elaborate scheme to discredit the Jedi Knights and prevent them from entering an alliance with the Hutts. Why would the Jedi be getting in an alliance with the Hutts? I don't even know. Clone Wars is whatever. I don't care. So anyway, we're going to get this Rhoda guy, and Jeremy Allen White is going to play him. It is kind of weird, though, because they already did The Mandalorian, they already did the Book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett takes over Jabba's palace from fat Bib Fortuna, which, by the way, like, another stupid thing they did in Disney Star Wars. That just reminded me. Why does Bib Fortuna have to be fat? Because Jabba's fat? Jabba's fat because Jabba is a giant space slug. Hutts are fat because they're space slugs, not because they're just fat. That's just how they look. Yeah, they're gross and they probably eat too much gross food, but they're fat because they're slugs. That's what they're based on. So why would Bib Fortuna all of a sudden... Was he skinny because in Jedi because Jabba didn't feed him, and then all of a sudden he has control over Jabba's palace and he's fat now? See how stupid that was? Make him look like Jabba. Like, what a dumb show. Anyway, and plus, who would respect Bib Fortuna? Oh, Bib Fortuna took over from Jabba. Like, there's like a million bounty hunters and gangsters. It's Tatooine. Somebody would have just killed Bib and taken over. Bib is just a loser. He was there for how many years? Running the show, really, until Boba Fett came along. Boba Fett was the only guy who had the cojones to take on Bib Fortuna. It was, anyways, this whole thing is just reminding me of garbage. This Rotta The Hutt. Anyways, so Jeremy Allen's gonna play him. I don't know. I don't know what. So, because he wasn't there in Book of Boba Fett, so where is he? And why does the Mandalorian need to have discussions with Rotta The Hutt? Because Bib was there, and then it was Boba Fett. Where was Rhoda in Book of Boba Fett? Nowhere. And so this is, again, one of these things where, like, I think Dave just, like, sits down and he's like, I can't think of anything. Oh, yeah, remember that Rhoda? Let's do that. Even though it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense because he hasn't been around. So then we're going to get, like, a bunch of exposition to try to make sense of why he hasn't been around. It's going to be lame. But whatever. He's in it. And, again, he's going to be, like, a young adult. And I don't know, guys. Like, I don't know. And boy, did they ever overdo it with the Hutts. Zero looks like an idiot. And then there was that Mama Hutt, too, that looked stupid. Like, they just can't just relax. They have to just constantly pump out content. And when you're constantly pumping out content, this is what you end up with. You end up with these weird ideas and like I'm gonna buy the Rhoda plushie, but I won't now because he's not a baby anymore. He's a teenager. He's a young adult. I guess we'll see. We might see Rotta the Hutt holding Grogu. It'll be like an iconic shot. And the other thing, I guess, like, are we going back to Tatooine, or where is this guy? Is that where he's going to be? Because he was the heir apparent to Jabba's... Yeah, see, this whole thing makes no sense. He's the heir to Jabba's empire. He's nowhere in the Book of Boba Fett. It's literally Bib Fortuna. So they're going to have some explanation. Like, did Bib take on the Hutt and win or something? It doesn't make sense. Because he was there. Ahsoka brings him back to Jabba, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I didn't watch the show. I've seen excerpts of certain stuff and heard some stuff, but like I'm pretty sure Ahsoka brings him back, and he's there now. And then Leia kills Jabba. And again, Rhoda's not there in Return of the Jedi either, which is why I don't like Clone Wars, because there's all these stupid characters that should be in places that they're not. And so what, like, and then Bib is there, and then Boba, like where's this guy been this whole time? Where was he when Jabba got killed? Because he would have been, I guess, a teenager at that point. Yeah, full blown. Not there. Then where is he when Bib takes over? Who knows? Bib gets fat. And then where is he when Boba Fett takes over? Where's he been this whole time? Who are the Hutts in the Book of Boba Fett again? Who are those two Hutts? He wasn't one of them, was he? Oh, yeah, that's right. The twins. So they were the... They're the cousins of Jabba. Like, why would Jabba's cousins be relevant in the Book of Boba Fett, but his... Like Rhoda is Jabba's son, and he's nowhere to be found in the Book of Boba Fett, but we get his cousins? Does Dave Filoni not see how convoluted that is? That you would have the cousins of Jabba relevant at that time, but not his own son? And it's because they're not thinking. They're just making it up as they go along, and they're doing a bad job of that. You can make it up as you go along. It's very, very possible. But you can't be like, okay, now we're going to make Rhoda a character in The Mandalorian and Grogu after we did what we did. Once you committed to this and to the twins, it seems pretty weird to me that you would then, after that, say that Rhoda has a role. Was he going to be like a homeless guy? I hope so. I hope Rhoda is like homeless on Coruscant. That's where he's been the whole time. He's selling death sticks or something. Like, what else are you going to do? Anyways, guys, this is what they're doing. This is not bode well. There were things about the trailer I did actually like. There were a lot of things I thought sucked. The leaked Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, I should say. I did a video about that. Check that out if you want. But anyways, let me know in the comment section what you think. I don't know. Everything they're doing is worrisome and crappy and just adding to the pile of crap that has been Disney Star Wars. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like and subscribe. Always helps the channel. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel. Have yourselves a good day.